Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Danielle and I'm a full-time wedding and brand photographer here in St. Louis, Missouri. This channel is where I declassify everything that I've learned in my 6 years of being a full-time photographer. I share tips and tricks and, just share how I work and how I do my thing. And today I wanted to share 20 of my favorite Amazon must-haves, essentials for wedding photographers. I have a bunch of products in front of me, so I'm excited to break these down. These are the items that I take with me on every single wedding day and have become staples in my camera bag and things I really can't live without in my process. So let's get into it. First up is the Spyder holster from a company called Spyder. I love this belt and it has become my new favorite way to carry my cameras on a wedding day. I've gone down the path of using shoulder straps for carrying my cameras. Companies like Holdfast and Rose Anfull are popular ones, but I just wasn't happy with that. I had a lot of shoulder pain, a lot of back pain, and truthfully, Holdfast would literally tear my hair out because it would get caught in between the leather and the metal components, and it was so painful. And the leather would actually rub my skin raw if I was wearing a sleeveless shirt. So it wasn't great. But the first time I saw this guy, I didn't really think much of him. One of my friends was using it when she was second shooting for me for a wedding. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give this a shot. And I tried it once and I never went back. I absolutely love this guy. It sits on your hips. So it's really easy to carry around weight on your hips, especially ladies. If you're out there and you're a photographer, this is great because we're made to carry weight on our hips, babies. I just can't say enough good things about this. I don't have as much pain after I leave a 10-hour wedding day, and it's super comfortable and lightweight and really helps free up my hands on wedding days when I'm posing and directing my couples. Another great feature of this is that if you use 2 cameras on a wedding day, this has a dual carrying camera system. So you actually have 2 locks on your belt. The camera plates work with any camera body and can even accompany a long zoom lens if you use those. The locking system is so secure. Like I could do a cartwheel and my cameras aren't going anywhere. And to unholster your gear, it's really simple as well. You just lift up the lock and remove your camera. So ditch the neck straps and get yourself a Spyder belt. Next is the Spyder Monkey utility pouch. For me, this is a must-have addition to the Spyder belt. I don't usually have large or safe pockets on me when I'm shooting a wedding. So this pouch allows me to secure either like my phone or typically a spare battery or an extra roll of film or other small items that I may need during a wedding day. And it just, like I said, locks right onto your belt and you have extra storage for snacks even. Okay, now I'm going to get into some flash gear that I use. You guys have asked for this numerous of times. I could not count how many people have asked me this question to share my gear links for my off-camera flash system. So we're going to talk about that right now. Steel light stands. This guy is so sturdy. I don't have to worry about kids running around the dance floor and knocking these over because this guy is so sturdy, so much more than your plastic one. For a pack of 2 on Amazon, I believe they're $120. Don't quote me. Everything is linked below in the description. If you are shooting a wedding, you need steel light stands, guys. These guys are so great. They're durable. They last for a really long time. I've had my pair of, I think I have 3. I've had them for a couple years and no problems. Next up is the MagMod Mag Shoe. This guy holds your flash and he goes on top of your light stand and it's a universal cold shoe flash mount, meaning it just holds your flash. It's so much easier to use than those generic ones that they give you with your flashes that you don't have the flat mount and they're just like really flimsy. You don't want that. You want this guy. And the locking mechanism keeps your flash from falling out. It keeps it secure. And the quick release button right here, this yellow guy, makes it really easy to change the position. It's really ergonomic, so it fits right into your hand. You see how those little grooves, it makes it really easy to hold. So anytime I'm actually doing an off-camera flash system where I don't want my light stand to be in the way, or maybe everything's all set up at reception and the couple's dancing and we're going to take sunset photos, I'm not breaking down this entire light stand. I'm just gonna take this guy off really quick, hand it to my second shooter and like like, go, we're going, we're off. And my second shooter is actually the one that's holding up my flash while I'm taking the photos. Next up. Okay, here we go. We're gonna talk about my favorite flash, the Godox V1 flash. I love these flashes and have used them for well over 4 years now. It works great to add in light in low light situations, which as a wedding photographer is basically 50% of your day, if not more. And great lighting is crucial for those bright and crisp images. I'm using this guy during the getting ready process when the bride and the groom are getting ready with their bridal party and their families. I'm also using them on engagement sessions if we do a shot inside in a hotel room, or we're doing portraits like in a cute ice cream shop, anywhere where it's indoors. I'm also using it for indoor wedding ceremonies, wedding receptions. If you're curious on how I use off-camera flash to photograph weddings, I do have a complete video where I break this down. I'll link that in the description below. I'm not going to go into a full review of what makes this guy so great, but I will say that the benefits also include the battery life. So the lithium ion battery makes this guy just last a really long time, and it has super fast recycle times, which is great during a wedding reception because everything's happening so fast and it's like boom, 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 boom. There's the cake cutting, boom, there's the dances, boom, she's twirling in the air, and you're just like trying to keep up, and your flash can keep up with you. So say goodbye to your AA batteries. This guy can last for up to 10 hours from full power. It's gonna show you guys how it just slides on so effortlessly. Isn't it beautiful? One thing to note is whenever you're buying this flash, you want to make sure you buy whatever is compatible with your camera. For instance, the one that's linked in the description is for Canon. So you'll see V1C. C is for Canon. They also make V1N for Nikon and S for Sony. You're also going to want the dome diffuser. I use this on my main on-camera flash, and it gives extra light without being too harsh because it diffuses the light beautifully through this little dome right here. The diffuser snaps on really easily with magnets. There's actually 4 of them on around the entire flash head, and that keeps it really secure. I will say if you're walking around and you hit the dome on anything, it will pop off, but you can just put it right back on. Just be careful when you're walking around wedding ceremonies, especially churches. I have had a really super embarrassing moment where it was so quiet, like they were in the middle of a prayer and I'm just like trying to scooch in between these guests and these pews, and it literally bounced down the aisle. It was so loud. Otherwise, it's essential and it just diffuses the light so beautifully. I love this entire setup. The last part of this setup is the white umbrella. And if you don't have anywhere to bounce your flash, this is where your umbrella is going to come in super handy. I feel like Mary Poppins. Okay, and the great thing about this white umbrella combined with the mag shoe is that there's this little hole in your mag shoe that's holding your flash that just perfectly, let's see, do we have room here? Any day now. Open. Okay, here we go. We're in. And you're ready. This guy would actually, this would be faced towards my umbrella to shoot through my umbrella, but we're not breaking down how this whole system works. I'm just showing you the gear that I use for flash. So this is it. You got the umbrella, you got the flash, you got the flash holder, the mag shoe, that's a mouthful, and you got the steel light stand and the dome diffuser. Okay, here we go. Up next. Just like it's important to protect your gear, it's just as important to protect your SD cards because they hold precious moments for your clients. And if you don't have an SD card holder, you need one. And you need this one in particular because it's light, it's compact, and it's really sturdy. It holds up to 40 SD cards. That's a lot. And personally, way more than I would ever use, but it holds a lot and it's really secure. The outside is a hard shell and the inside has this yellow seal ring around the box to protect your cards from dust or liquids or anything that can penetrate inside and ruin your SD cards. It's got a really secure locking system. So if you were ever to drop this case, it would not pop out and scatter your cards everywhere. I cannot say that about the first SD card holder that I ever purchased. And this is why I wanted to add this because I feel like a lot of people don't know this. The great thing about this guy is that the foam, it actually has slots open for your SD cards to sit, which makes it impossible for them to fall out. So they're protected, right? These guys, not so much. They fall out so much easier in these kinds of cases. So be sure to get yourself a good SD card holder that protects all of your hard work. Gotta put my SD cards back. No, they're safe. They're safe. More important than the card case holder are the actual SD cards. I prefer SanDisk Extreme or Extreme Pro, which has at least a transfer speed of 170 to 180 megabytes per second. Don't bother with anything less than 100 megabytes. I personally like to use the 256 for weddings because I know I won't run out of space on them because they typically hold up to like 5,000 images. Plus, I am not the type of photographer who uses 364s in a row and I just keep changing out the cards because in my opinion it's a little risky to have cards constantly be taking in and out of your camera. Like, what if you replace them? What if they get lost or something, or they get corrupted, or you forget to change them before a really important moment like a first kiss during a ceremony and then you miss it because your card's full? That would be terrible. It's just not the best process I have found, like constantly worrying about changing out your cards on a wedding day. For me, I would just like to have one 256 so I can go through the day and I'm posing people and it's not interrupted. Like, your posing flow can even be interrupted if all of a sudden your card's like, I'm full, and you're like, crap, I was in a really good flow. I do use 64s for smaller shoots like engagement shoots or family or branding where I'm only like shooting for an hour or a couple hours. So I do feel like you do need a range, like you need 256 if you shoot weddings. This is a video for weddings. Or you can also have your 64s and use them for your engagement sessions. I personally give my 128s to my second shooters on wedding days. The LaCie 2 terabyte solid state drive. This is my working drive and is quite honestly probably the nicest drive that I've ever owned. Yes, it's expensive. It's probably 20 to 30% pricier than your average solid state, but it's so worth it because it's stupid fast and it's really durable. It's a palm shaped design, so it's easy to travel with. It's honestly a really great price for what you get. The cable is really short also, which helps for those really fast read and write times. I believe it's up to 1,050 millibytes per second. All in all, I really love this drive. I love working off of it. And when I say working drive, I'm referring to the difference between having a working solid state drive and a storage hard drive, meaning all of the sessions that I have yet to be edited are living on this solid state drive, and all my finished products are living on a different drive, on a different hard drive. But you need both. And if you're a photographer with a consistent queue of projects that you need to edit, like you constantly have 10 projects in your queue that you need to edit, you don't really want to be editing those on the same hard drive that you're storing past projects. And you definitely don't want to be working off of your SD cards. Guys, do not do that. That's very, very risky. It's safest to work off a working hard drive. And in my opinion, the solid state drive is the best option because it's really fast. So you're not going to wait on lag time for your pictures to upload, or maybe you're running a process like denoise in Lightroom and it takes forever anyways. You don't want it to take double the amount of time, especially when you're editing 500 up to 1,000 images. That's going to cost you a lot of time. So don't do that. And once your project is edited, you can move it off of your solid state to your storage hard drive. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But first, if you spent any money on a solid state drive, you need a carrying case to protect it whenever you're on the go or you're traveling. So look how cute this guy is. And he matches. He's also orange. I love it. If you don't care about aesthetics, then they do have a black option as well. I will often work on the go or whenever I'm traveling for weddings. So I love this little guy because it protects my hard drive whenever I'm in an airplane or traveling or whatever. And it also has little slots for SD cards, which is helpful. The LaCie 5 terabyte external hard drive. You know, earlier when we were talking about the difference between storage hard drives and working hard drives, well, these are the storage hard drives where you store your finished products, meaning you've edited them, you've sent them to the client, and now they're just ready to be archived. So this is that storage device. It's an HDD, also known as a hard disk drive. Typically, they're slower, but that's okay because you're not working off of them. They're just meant to give you more space, and they're cheaper because they're not as fast. I typically fill one up for each year between weddings and brand projects and one-off sessions like engagements, families, maternity, boudoir, whatever you shoot. So if you don't shoot as much as I do, or you don't have as big of a workload, you'd probably be okay with a 4 terabyte. Just make sure that you guys are storing your projects on an HDD. You guys are probably like, how is this different than the other drive that you work off? Well, in the land of data storage devices, there are SSDs or HDDs. SSDs are the creme de la creme because of their read and write speeds. Like we talked about, they're freaking fast. SSDs use flash memory to store their data, so they have no moving parts, which also makes them smaller and thinner. Unlike HDDs, these guys, they use magnetic disks and a moving read or write head to store and access your data. It's really similar to a record player. And because of the need for more moving parts, they're typically larger to house all these mechanisms, and they make a little bit more noise because of their spinning disks. The con is that they're slower. The pro is that they're more cost effective. So think of solid state drives as faster. You're really working off of those, and think of HDDs as slower, but they are less expensive, meaning that they're great for storing projects. Fractals. I feel like this is the most fun item that I have to chat about today. Fractal filters are handheld glass prisms that you hold in front of your lens when you're shooting, and they can actually bend and multiply light sources, allowing you to create some pretty unique shots. I'll pop up some examples for you guys to see on the screen. They come in so many different shapes, and this one in particular comes with 3 shapes. My favorite time to use these is during reception, whenever the dance floor opens and everybody's having fun on the dance floor, and they come in this cute little carrying case so you can keep them protected. Next up is the phone camera mount. I've gone through so many of these stupid little things, it's ridiculous, but I finally found one that doesn't randomly drop my phone whenever I'm taking photos. And this guy right here is from the brand Neewer. It's very durable and your phone isn't going anywhere. It's metal and has an adapter for both a tripod and your camera, and it's even got a cold shoe adapter on both sides, so you can mount a microphone, an LED video light, or whatever you use for content creation if you're a vlogger. Personally, I use this for behind the scenes on wedding days, and it's great because Instagram Reels are king. It's very important to do if you want to be marketing yourself and finding new clients and just visibility on Instagram. So if you don't have a second shooter, these are great. And I even use them whenever I do have a second shooter, just because the more the merrier. You can never have too much content. Everything is content, right? Next is my mini reflector, which I use for detail photos whenever I'm photographing the ring. Let me just... If your editing style puts an emphasis on showcasing deep shadows, then you're probably not going to care about this so much. But for me, I'm a girl who likes a brighter editing style. Dark shadows aren't really my thing, especially when I'm photographing lay flats with bridal details and the rings. I'll pop up a video so you guys can see this work in real time. Even though I'm photographing near a window with natural light, I'm still getting some harsh shadows on the opposite side of the window. So I just use this guy and angle it down so I fill in those harsh shadows with a little bit of light. It just bounces the light back in to fill the shadows. Command hooks. Listen, have you ever been in a bride's getting ready space and there's nowhere to hang the freaking dress and you're just like, oh my God, internally freaking out. I'm not going to hang it off this window because it's so backlit. It just completely overexposes the entire dress. It can kind of be a nightmare if you don't have a good place to hang the dress. Or even worse, there's a wall with stunning wallpaper, like the most beautiful design you've ever seen, and the dress would look amazing hanging off of it, but there's no hooks or light fixtures. So this is where the command hook is going to save your life. So get your shot and don't have to sacrifice any photos of the dress being subpar. Okay, don't laugh at me. Yes, I'm holding hot hands, but hear me out. If you have sessions or you photograph weddings where it gets cold, you need these, not for you, but for your clients, and they're going to love you for it. I can't even take credit fully for this idea because our wedding photographer did this for us. We got married in December. We actually got really lucky with the weather, but it was still a little bit chill. It was like 40 degrees, and our photographer popped out these hot hands in the middle of our portrait session when we were outside, and I will never forget that. It was the smallest gesture, but was so thoughtful of her, and it made me feel so special and cared for and seen by her on my wedding day. And they actually helped a lot. You actually get a lot of heat from these, and so John kept them in his suit jacket, and he would just stick his hands in his suit in between shots, and I held one right behind my bouquet. So go the extra mile for your clients and get some hot hands, and just bring a couple on the wedding day with you if it's cold outside. A bridal emergency kit. Honestly, if you're a wedding photographer and you don't have a bridal emergency kit, like what are you even doing? You need these because things just happen, and it's so important to be prepared for anything. So get yourself a tackle box from Amazon where you can easily access anything from scissors to bobby pins to Tylenol or a Tide pen or Band-Aids. So fill it with whatever you think would be helpful. I can't even tell you how many times I've reached for this guy, whether the bride's hair might be coming out or might be out of place, and you fix it with a bobby pin, or someone accidentally spills something on the dress, which happens, and you're there with your Tide pen. Just whatever you think would be helpful so you can swoop in and save the day. Next, we've got the Mohiso. Mosiso? I actually don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a camera backpack. If I'm photographing a local wedding, I often use my suitcase. I don't use this guy, but when I'm gonna jump on a plane and go shoot a wedding in a different state, or I'm going to Mexico to shoot a wedding, I am using this backpack because your girl doesn't check anything. I keep all of my expensive gear on my person, on me at all times. I don't take risks. And this guy is great. He comes in 12 colors. I, of course, picked my favorite color, beige. It's got a hard shell case, and it's got plenty of storage on the inside. So it holds a lot. Like, it can hold all of my lenses that I need, my camera bodies, and even my flash heads. And it also has a storage slot for your laptop. So all in all, great backpack and not super expensive. My last item is in my car, BRB, a wheel lock. I know it seems a little bit extreme, but guys, you can never be too careful. And maybe it's because I live in St. Louis and we've been rated as the #1 most dangerous place to live. And I go downtown to shoot weddings, but I think no matter where you live, even if you're a city or if you're in a more rural area, you can never be too careful, and things happen. Your car can get broken into, your car can get stolen. So if you ever go anywhere for an extended period of time and you have your expensive gear with you, it's just better to play it safe. So get a wheel lock and protect yourself, protect your car, and protect your gear. So that's it. Those are my 20 Amazon favorites for wedding photographers. I've linked everything in order in the description box below if you'd like to purchase one of these items. These are commissionable links, so if you'd like to make a purchase through my referral, I'd be forever grateful. Thank you for supporting me and for supporting this channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and be sure to comment below any ideas for future topics that you'd like me to cover or make videos on. I'm all here for feedback so I can continue making content that actually serves this community. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.